Every year we celebrate organizations, their employees, and their unions that have reached significant milestones of $1 million, $2 million, or $10 million of cumulative support over the years. This year we are excited to recognize 3 companies that have reached each milestone of support. Thanks to the generosity of their members and employees, these companies have helped United Way to improve lives and build communities here in Saskatoon. We express our gratitude and deepest appreciation to these valued supporters. Thanks a million. RBC has supported the United Way for over 20 years. Year over year, more than half of their employees have made financial contributions to help change lives. RBC has also shown their local love in other ways, including participating in Day of Caring volunteering on United Way's fundraising cabinet, which was co-chaired in 2018 by Michael Delaney.
On a national level, RBC has been involved since 1927, and it's my understanding that we're one of the top supporters nationally, and we're very proud of that. In addition, at a local level, what we're seeing is that we are involved in corporate gifts, employee campaigns where we're encouraging employees to donate funds to support the United Way. Also involved in Days of Caring, which our employees talk about immensely and love it. And we have many employees that even volunteer for the fundraising cabinet as well.
Federated Cooperatives Limited has been a strong supporter of United Way since 2011. They've shown outstanding community leadership, taking the opportunity to go above and beyond the typical workplace campaign as they did this year. This year, FCL had the highest number of employee donors yet, with over 65% of the staff supporting the United Way.
FCL's been involved for a number of years. Myself, I was involved as a co-chair for 2 years, and I know that FCL, it aligns well with what our vision is. We're trying to build sustainable communities together, so we do a lot in the communities that we operate in, and so it aligns well with what United Way is trying to do to improve lives locally.
Seeing the difference that we can make right here in Saskatoon where Federated Co-op headquarters are placed, I think that made a huge difference, and it really got me excited to be part of that campaign.
Nutrien has been a supporter of the United Way of Saskatoon for over 20 years. Throughout this time, they've reached the outstanding milestone of raising $10 million. Nutrien is invested in enhancing the quality of life of our community, not only through fundraising, but also by participating in Days of Caring and sponsoring important community events like Wichihituin, with over $90,000 invested in the event since 2015. We are proud to see their amazing support of our community and look forward to many more years of partnership.
Nutrien's been involved with the United Way for over 20 years, and we're really excited this year that we're celebrating over $10 million of donations to the United Way. For us, the United Way is very aligned with what we do as a company, so we're all about building our communities and growing the world from the ground up. And so we start close at home, and the great thing about the United Way is the United Way helps us to provide donations to the community where they're most needed at any given time. And that for us is really important.
Sharing stories is an important way to communicate the impact of the work being done by United Ways across our country. In 2018, United Ways across Canada came together to tell 10 of these stories that connect us all. Each story is unique, but the issues that face our communities are often the same. These stories told about the love shared between a donor and a program participant. We call this special relationship local love. Throughout our fundraising season, we told these stories and encouraged people to mobilize their feelings of local love through acts that impacted our community. For a second national awareness campaign, United Way Centraide Canada partnered with the Pantone Color Institute to create the world's most unignorable color, a brand new color developed specifically to highlight local issues and bring attention to the millions of Canadians impacted by them. A total of 8 issues were identified by United Way across Canada, and a national brand campaign was launched. You can't solve a problem if you don't know it exists. In our busy world, important local social issues can often go unnoticed. United Way works to change that. These two campaigns brought together United Ways from coast to coast and will continue to connect us deeper in the coming years. It was an exciting year for 211 Saskatchewan as the service expanded from an online database to include calling, texting, and online chat. 211 connects residents of Saskatchewan to over 5,000 social, community, non-clinical health, and government services across the entire province, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year in over 175 languages. Community Initiative Fund and Can Pacific Potash each made 3-year commitments to 211 Saskatchewan of $600,000 and $150,000 respectively to make this service expansion possible. Both organizations recognize the service as an invaluable tool for the people of Saskatchewan, allowing them better access to programs and services that they're searching for.
When we first set up, we said, how do we become engaged with not only the city of Saskatoon, which we're based in, but where other properties are through the province? And 211 was a program that we saw, and as I know from personal experience, it's United Ways across Canada support that. So when it became a question of whether they would expand it here, we stepped in and said, is there a part we can play in this? Because it reaches everybody in every community, and for us it's a perfect fit.
United Way of Saskatoon is a founding and continuing partner of the Witchahitowin Aboriginal Engagement Conference, along with other great community supporters. The conference brings together leading experts, community leaders, elders, and youth, focusing on issues concerning Indigenous engagement and human service delivery issues. In the past 4 years, we've seen the conference grow with over 160 speakers, 1,500 registrants, and 150 elders, knowledge keepers, and residential school and 60 scoop survivors participating in Witchahitowin. 2018's conference focused on the theme of Voices of the People, Past, Present, and Future.
So I want to encourage all of the investors and thank all of the investors for the past 4 years on the Witchahitowin conference. And I want to encourage you to talk to the committee. With your support, they'll do this again. Not for us, not for you, but for our children, our grandchildren, and your children and your grandchildren. That's why we do this.
In 2018, United Way nominated PCL for the National Philanthropy Award due to their dedicated and generous commitment to helping United Way change lives. PCL was honored with the award in November at the National Philanthropy Day Luncheon. In their 10 years of support of the United Way, PCL has raised over $500,000. They also give back to our community in other ways, including volunteering at United Way's Day of Caring event year after year. In 2018, PCL also participated in the Saskatoon Blades Stantec Shootout for Charity, beating out 16 other companies and winning $3,000 for the United Way. In 2018, United Way hosted their 11th annual Women Leading the Way Luncheon. This year's sold-out event took place at the new Ramey Modern Art Gallery for the first time. Together with Don Dumont, we explored how resilience is transformative for women and how they can embrace their own resilience, build it in others, and ignite possibility right here at home. Over the past 11 years, hundreds of women have come together to share in their philanthropic journey. This event started as a way for United Way to thank their women leadership donors, but has evolved into an afternoon focused on connection and the power of women in our community. Thank you to all the past speakers, sponsors, and attendees that have helped shape Women Leading the Way into the event that it's become. We look forward to many more years of sharing, learning, and growing together. Day of Caring is one way United Way works to spread local love to Saskatoon's community agencies and the many people who utilize their programs and services. Through the support of generous organizations such as Saskatchewan Blue Cross, people's lives are being positively impacted right here at home. Blue Cross generously sponsored this year's Day of Caring and participated by partnering with YWCA to revitalize the playground, contributing $15,000 to the project. Together, we were able to increase the capacity of the participating agencies and help them complete crucial projects that would otherwise be postponed or canceled. 2018 was our biggest Day of Caring yet, with 44 organizations participating in the event with 423 volunteers, 2,279 hours worked, and an estimated value of $65,259.39 in volunteer time and financial resources invested into the community. Tampon Tuesday is an initiative developed by United Way Centraide Canada and the Canadian Labour Congress over 10 years ago. United Way of Saskatoon and Area, Saskatoon and District Labour Council, Canadian Labour Congress Prairie Region all launched a local initiative in Saskatoon 3 years ago to provide the community an opportunity to gather, socialize, and support an effort to provide hygiene products to those in need. Since its first year in 2017, over $4,200 has been raised and 3,400 packages of pads and tampons have been collected. Product has been distributed at YXE Connects and other local organizations, including AIDS Saskatoon, Out Saskatoon, Westside Community Centre, Interval House and Adele House, Saskatoon Sexual Health, Bedford Road Collegiate, White Buffalo Youth Lodge, Lighthouse Supported Living, YWCA Shelter, Mount Royal Collegiate, and Sanctum.
Tampon Tuesday is an important event because it brings awareness to an issue that we often neglect in the city and we kind of take for granted. And so, from our standpoint, we don't have a ton of resources to dedicate towards getting female sanitary items, and it just eliminates a lot of hassle on our end and a lot of work on our end, and it's really nice because the United Way kind of takes care of all that and we just get the benefit from it, and so we really appreciate that part of it.
United Way of Saskatoon was honored to be chosen as the Edwards School of Business JDC West's charity partner. The JDC West team raised over $10,000 for United Way of Saskatoon in 2018 through their Chillin' for Charity event, where volunteers were sponsored to plunge into a freezing cold pool in the middle of winter, all in the name of charity. Over 100 hours of volunteering was done by students at the Pride Parade, the Broadway Street Fair Dunk Tank, and Reading with Children at United Way Summer Success Camps.
Even though much has changed for United Way over the past year, there are several things that have remained constant. And one of those things is hope. And hope isn't lucky, it's not fingers crossed, it's not blind. Hope comes from signs of progress, from indications that things are realigning for the better. And as we close 2018, I'm more hopeful this year than I've ever been about United Way's continued vibrant and strong place in Saskatoon. Because there's been a couple of really significant indicators of that. For instance, we're going to modestly surpass our revenue goal for the year. That's a big thing. We're also in partnership with a broad cross-section of our community partners and stakeholders like you. We're in the development stage of a brand new community investment strategy that is going to be responsive, it's going to be responsible, and it's going to be sustainable. But perhaps the most important sign of hope of all is the newfound connection and relationship we have with many of you, our community partners. In the midst of our disruption, many of you offered honest criticism and deserved criticism and constructive feedback, but most of all, you communicated an invitation to a better, improved relationship, saying over and over again in many different ways that we're better together. And that's what we're building on. That's how we move forward, and that's why I'm hopeful.
Through your acts of local love, United Way is able to continue to change lives in our community year over year. Thank you for making that possible.